You might be wondering why your closing rate is tanking, why you're getting hit with chargebacks, and why your commission check looks like it's been on a friggin' diet. Well, I will tell you this, it's not necessarily because you're bad at sales. Most likely, it's because you're wasting time on the wrong people. I'm about to tell you exactly how you spot the time wasters, the skeptics, the chargeback kings before they drain your energy, your money, and your sanity. You have to understand that if you're not identifying suspects early, you're not just losing other sales opportunities, you're sabotaging your entire business. So listen up. If you're new here, I'm Ryan Valet, your Fexpert or Final Expense Expert. And my goal is honestly to help as many agents as I can understand how to truly make a living selling final expense life insurance from your home in your underwear if you want. All right, so let's talk about something that's probably eating away at your telesales game, but no one's putting it out there clearly enough. Suspects. I know you've heard me talk about it before. I'm not talking about criminals here. I'm actually talking about the type who is almost never going to buy from you. They're the ones who will fill out your form, listen to your pitch, maybe even nod along. But at the end of the day, they're just not going to convert. These people are suspects. And if you're not careful, they'll drain your time, your energy, and your bank account faster than anyone can say chargeback. Here are 4 great examples on how to spot a suspect before they cost you everything. Number 1, the lonely time wasters. These are the people who are more interested in having a conversation than actually buying anything. They're lonely, and I get it, but your job isn't to be a freaking therapist. It's to make money to put food on the table. They'll fill out forms, they'll chat with you, but the moment you bring up commitment, they up and disappear. If you find yourself on a call that feels like a therapy session, get out politely but quickly. This is the type that, unfortunately, if you ask how long have you been looking, they will tell you their entire life story. Or if you ask what has kept you from putting something in place, and they tell you all about the last 10 agents that you've talked to and how they have another 5 appointments to talk to even more agents. If you don't sniff this one out and stop them early, you will be on the phone for hours with too much information and nothing to show for it. Number 2, guaranteed chargebacks. Now, this type is truly dangerous. They'll sign up, sure, but then they'll cancel. And guess what? You are always left holding the bag. Look for signs of terrible payment history, switching from one carrier to another, to another, to another, and stories that just don't add up. For example, I was paying for 3 months and then they just stopped taking the money. No, Mrs. Jones, your bank account was just empty because you bought too many scratch-offs last week. If they've had more carriers than you've had hot dinners, that's a red flag that they are a suspect. This is also someone who just can't keep their policy payments. They'll miss the first or the second payment because their account got hacked for the 10th time this year. If you hear the words, I've had trouble keeping up with my payments in the past, be extremely cautious. This isn't likely an ideal client. It's a chargeback waiting to happen. Now, I'm not saying hang up the phone immediately, but you have to stick to the script, and even more, you got to ask them more questions to get them to commit to the fact that it's actually important to them. Don't be afraid to ask, Mrs. Jones, so what exactly can we do to make sure that you can keep the policy this time? Sometimes you will find that they were just oversold or they overbought. However, other times they will respond with, what does it matter, and hang up. Consider that a blessing, my friend, and just move on. Number 3, the distrustful skeptic. These are the ones who don't trust anyone over the phone, even if you were standing in front of them while on the phone with them. They'll question everything, push back on every detail, and at the end of the day, they're not going to buy because they don't trust the process. They might sound like they're really interested, but what they're really doing, they might sound like they're interested, but what they're really doing is buying time. And it's your time. If you ask who's going to be your beneficiary and they say, you don't need to know that, or you ask, do you use a bank account or a Direct Express card? And they tell you there's no way they're telling you over the phone. That is a suspect sign. This doesn't mean to just completely give up with no other questions, but it does mean that there are objections to get through before moving to the next step. My honest rule of thumb is I try 3 times in 3 different ways, and if they're still pushing back, then move on, or maybe schedule a follow-up call if you absolutely feel like this is a potential opportunity. Number 4, the procrastinator. This might be one of the worst ones. This person will put off buying anything until it's too late. They will tell you they need more time to think, that they got to have time to talk to their spouse or their kids, or that they have to pray on it. Everybody's got an excuse. And here's the truth. There is no right moment. If they can't commit now or can't give you a real reason not to buy today, then they're likely never going to. Your time is better spent on someone who is ready to make a decision today, not someday. There is a real fine line between getting a procrastinator to pull the trigger and then pushing so hard that they just say yes. Again, the goal here is to avoid chargebacks. Listen, we're in the business of helping people, but we're also in the business of making money and keeping it. I hear too many agents wondering why they didn't get the sale or why they charged back, only to find out that the prospect was actually a suspect and they shouldn't have sold them a policy in the first place. Some people will talk to you for hours or actually buy from you just because they can't say no, but then have no problem calling the carrier on their own to personally cancel the damn thing. Don't get trapped by suspects who are going to waste your time, kill your momentum, and ultimately cost you. Learn to spot these red flags early and move on quickly. Because for every suspect, there's a real prospect out there who needs what you're selling, and they're ready to buy. Anyways, people, I hope that you could tell that I'm truly passionate about helping all of you succeed by laying down the facts of selling final expense. If you found this helpful, do me a favor, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment about your experience with the suspect. And remember, you're in control of your time, your energy, and your results. Don't let the suspects rob you of that. I'll see you in the next one, guys.